Good afternoon, Ravli.
Could you please open the PPT
Yeah.
with the list of questions on topic name?
Okay. Now I will explain about the
Please
user variable.
uh,
Yeah.
share your screen.
Is it my screen is visible, Ravli?
Yes.
Yeah. Coming to
Over
the
to carry
yeah.
on.
Thanks. Coming to the user variables. User variables nothing but in the user variable we can limit the number of numbers in a particular in the form. And coming to the next slide, in this topic will be able to show us the usage of user variables in the following artifacts. Coming from the user variable we can use four artifacts. One is data form, another one is RTP means runtime prompt, and BR means business rule, and fourth one is smart view. These are the four topics which we run the user variable in the application. Coming to the next slide, creation of user variables. What is the use of user variables? User variables nothing but we can filter the particular number which was given by the service administrator. What is the difference between the user variable and substitution variable? uh, if we changes any data in the substitution variable, it will affect total application. If we change in the user variable, if we change any changes in the user variable, it will affect it only particular user only, it will not affect on total application. And in which use case do you use the user variable or substitution variable over the substitution variable? Mm. While selecting the entity, we use while selecting the entity, we use the variable over the substitution variable. Can you show me how to use a create or user variable from the following use case? Falling to the use case one is that assume user one in the owner of entity two entities. Assume those two entities as value to the entity dimension. What they said is that we have to create a one user variable. Under that one owner should be there. For the owner there should be two members. They had said to take entity. For the two members we have to add. We have to create the user variable in the application. For that I will show you in the application. While going to the navigation, select the application. Under that, under the tools, you can see the variable option will be there. You have to select the variable code. Under that, you can see the user variable and substitution variable. You have to select the user variable. Under that, you can create the user variable plus selecting the plus option. You have to select the plus option. Here you can see you can select the particular dimension, which dimension you want to create a user variable. You have to select the particular dimension. I want to in the from the PPT question, we have to select the entity. So I selected entity, and you have to assign some user variable name here. After that you have to pick the members. They said to pick two members, right? So I have to select this member selection. Here you have to select the two members, which is zero level members. Like this we have to select the two members and click on save. After that saving, see, I created before I created predefined this one. For this I created this user definition. I will change it to the two members. Yes, sir. Yeah, while selecting the total geography, here you can see the segments. Yeah, before I selected these two members for the entity. Click on OK. Here you can see for the particular entity dimension, I added two members. This is the formation. This is the creation of user variables. After that, click on save. Cannot be empty. Okay. Okay, that's the process to creation of the user variables. Coming to the next slide. Mm, yeah. Coming to the next slide. Usage of user variables in the data forms. Can you reuse any of the data form and show me how to use the user variables as per the user case one from the slide 3? What is the question is that we have to use the user variable can we use the user variable in multiple forms? For that I will show you in the navigation. Click on application, click on forms. Yeah, Previously, I have been created one form for that in the library data forms. Yeah, here I have been created previously this form. Click on that. This is the entity. We have to select the entity. Click on edit. Click on variable. Under the variable, you can see the user variable had here. Previously, I have been created these user variables. Click the entity text and add to the next box. Click on OK. See here the user variable added to the column. This is the process of entering the user variable in the form in the data. So, come to the next slide. Sorry, next question. Can you explain how user one can access the data form which is created based on the above question in detail of how the entities are restricted to the two entities of ownership? I will show you in the navigation this part. Yeah. This is the user variable I have been entered in the column that per entity. You have to, here you after that you have to save it. Click on OK. Click on preview. See here you can see only one entity member only is there. Why? Because it was restricted. We can select only particularly only one member, but we can't add two or three members. Only we can select only particular one member. It was restricted. Coming to the next question. Okay. Should user one support to access any of the entities other than the two entities he owns in the data forms? Question is that either we can add more than two entities in a particular form. No, we can't add more than two. I will show you in the navigation. Sorry. Yeah. Here. Previously have been added the user variable in here, right? After that, you have to select the other option. Here the dynamic user variables which have been created for the user variable, those type entities will be shown here. Previously I have been added this entity test. Click on OK. Okay. Go to the data. Enter the data form. I created this user variable. Click on user variable. See here. Here I given one entity part. Here also I given the dimension user variable. We can select only two, but we can't add more than two. One thing I want to say one thing, but what will be in the layout part, the entity that entity won't be affected to the data. The dimension part will be affected. We can filterize it while selecting this. You can see actually we added two childrens, right? Those two childrens we can see here. Particularly we can select the child and we can click on OK. That will affect it to the application. Cancel. Come to the next question. Okay. Can you show me how to enable the dynamic user variable? Yes, I will show you in the navigation. Click on forms. Yeah. Take the past user, select the past form, click user variable, edit, select other option. Under the other option, you can see the context menu will be there, and under that the dynamic user variable will be there. By selecting this option, you can enabling the dynamic variable. If you disable, you can disable. If you want to enable the dynamic variable, you have to select this particularly. Then only the pop-up value show in the form. That's the process of enabling the dynamic user variable. Take any parent entity as an example. Show how only the children or that parent entities are filtered in the data form. We have to show the only the child members. We should not show any parent member. Only child member we should have to show in the form. For that we have to select the application, select layout. I will take the account members as a children. edit. uh, I selected traditional under traditional balance total asset. Total asset is the parent one. Under the child members will be there. I want to take only the child member. For that we have to select the fx. Under that you can see the level 0 descendant. You have to select the level 0 descendant and click on OK. OK. Then save. Click on preview. Here you can see the only the level 0 members has been seen here. These are child members. The parent number is not shown here. That's the process of seeing the child members. And this is a referral link for seeing these topics. This is necessary. Coming to the fourth question, when the data form is saved, the business rules should run only in the context of entity selection made. I will show you this is in the application. You have to select the application. Under that, you have to select the business rules. Previously, I created this business rules manually. These two, we have to select this one, and you have to push into the other box. After pushing that, you can see the down the business rule properties has been seen here. You can select what you want to run in the application. You have to select the particular call, particular member. If you want to run after the save, you have to select it. If you want to run before the save, you have to select these options. That's the process of this question. Cancel. Coming to the back to the PPT. Yeah, this slide is over. Come to the next slide. Use of user variables in the RTP. Can we use a user variable in RTP? Yes, we can use a user variable in RTP. If yes, can you limit the user variable in the RTP to be able to restrict the user one from the access that entities other than the he or she owns? Yeah, I will show you in the navigation the limitation part. For that, we have to select the application. Under the application, you have to select the navigation option. Under the create and manage, there you can see the rule code. You have to select the rule code. Yeah, here you have to select the action. Under the action, you have to select the variable design. You have to select the APM cloud. Under that, you have to select the global. Here you can create the replacement of the RTP. You have to select action and select new. Here you have to assign some name here, the RTP name. Under that, you have group is not necessary. Group, when you create an object, you have to assign the name. Coming to the type, I have selected member, and see some column has been opened. In here, you have to assign the dimension, which dimension you want to create a user variable. For that, you have to select the particular dimension. For example, I selected entity. When you select the RTP, the limitation column will be open, rather than it will not open. Here you have to assign the particular name which was created for user variable. You have to assign that name. Previously I created for this. I will show you that directly. Yeah, RTP entity. I given as a RTP entity. Coming to the dimension type, I given here entity. Limits means what I given for entity for user variable. That user variable name I have to assign here. Wait, I will show you the user variable name. Click on variable. Here, see the user variable name has given as entity test. I have to copy this and I have to paste there in RTP. So yeah, here I given as ampersand and entity test. What I have given for limits, I have to give the same name as to the default value also. I given as ampersand entity test, and coming to RTP text, I given as please enter the entity. After this creation, you have to save it. After saving the part, you have to select the system view. After selection of system view, you have to select the action. Under action, you have to select the new object. You have to assign the name APM cloud, and under that application previously I created with this name, so it shows only FCCS2. Select it. After that, you have to select the particular console, sorry, cube. For cube, it was showing previously console only, so you have to select the console. After that, object type. In the object type, I selected rule. Name, you have to assign the name, which name you want to create. You have to assign that particular name. After that, click on OK. Then the RTP form will be create. Previously I created one form. I will show you for the particular entity. Click on FCCS2 console rules. Click on entity rule. I think it was taking time. It's loading. Yeah. For the particular user variable, I created one scripting part. I taken the entity test, right, for the user variable. I taken the user variable. I have taken is for here user variable fix and ampersand entity test and fix. For RTP, for RTP, when I'm creating the form, I assign some name, right. For that, RTP entity I given that here. By giving the script, you have to validate. If this error, if the code has been any error, it will throws an error. If it is perfect, it will validate. Click on validate. It's taking some time. Okay, I think it takes some time. After the validation part, you have to deploy. You have to select the option. Here you have to select the action option. Under the action option, you can see the deploy. See here, the validation is successful. After that, you have to select the action option. Under the action option, you can see the deploy option will be there. You have to select the deploy. Yeah, by this option you can deploy the particular user variable. This is a process of creation of user variable in the RTP. Yeah, successfully it has been deployed. Come back. Come to the next slide. Click on PPT. Yeah. Use the RTP in the BR. It shows. It's show me how it's work. Okay, I will show you directly in the navigation. After creation of the RTP business rule, select the rules card under the dashboard. Here you can see which have been created previously. I mean, no one using, right, that entity rule I created. You have to select this one. Here you can see this is the user variable which have been created for in the RTP. This one. Come to the next slide. Uses of user variable in the business rule. Can you show me how to use the user variable in the business rule? Yeah, I will show you. Click on navigation and we have to select the entity rule which was created before in the RTP. Here, by selecting this option, here I selected only one member, so it will restricted that and it will show only a particular one member only. You have to select the Singapore one and click on OK. After that, you have to launch. That's the process of launching the business rule in the business rule using user variable. And the next question. Can you explain what advantage does the user of what can you explain what advantage does the user of user variable has over sub variable in the business rule? This question is related to the first question only. When the We've previously discussed about that. Which use case do you use the user variable or over the sub variable? And coming to the third question, can you explain which of the following approach is recommended, not to recommended for the user entity in the business rule? Please explain which is why, if you can. Okay. Mostly I will prefer using RTP only. I will show you in the scripting part for this. Previously I created this for it. This is the scripting part for hardcore member, and this is the scripting part for user variable, and this is for substitution variable, and this is the RTP. See, coming to this, I mean, using RTP means it has a runtime prompt, so we can use, I mean, uses of this for mostly we use RTP is quite better to run the particular I mean user variable or substitution variable. Hardcore memory means we have to randomly we have to select the layout and we have to pick the particular member. After that we can run. Similarly these two also like it only. So mostly I will prefer using RTP. And coming to the next slide, usage of smart view in the user variable. Can you explain how to insert the user variable in the smart view using using the case one from the slide 4? Yeah, click on act click on Excel. Here, click on smart view, click on option. We have to disable the suppress missing block. Click on OK. After that, previously I created this user variable. Click on that and click on ad hoc analysis. See, here one form has been created. The question is that how can we add the user variable in the smart view? Click on this cell and give the emphasis entity underscore test. Okay, refresh. See, here the user variable has been added. That's the process of using user variable in the smart view. Come to application. Next slide. Okay, these are the 4 steps which we use the user variable. One is data form, and is RTP, and third one is business rule, and fourth one is smart view. Thank you. Over to you, Ravali. Completed.